I hope you didn't think we weren't going to keep going with this. It's just been a while, so my voices are all going to be completely different. I did listen to a little bit of what the voices I did before was, so hopefully I get the same attitude. Once everyone is gathered at the fire pit, Dwight and Claudette quickly make an announcement. We're not going to blame anyone in particular, but someone, we're not going to say who, so don't worry you, hasn't been sticking to the schedule. It's us. That means we're behind on time for evening activities. And we'll only have time for one person to share their special spooky nighttime story. Oh, I don't even remember what I did for him. Just one story? But story time is my favorite activity. This is a narrative-heavy experience. You're telling us that only one person gets to share. How will we decide who? Oh, great. We should decide as a group? That never goes well. Whoever did this, step up now. I swear I won't be angry. I'll merely chop your head clean off. No fuss, no muss. Voice trembling, you realize this is probably it for you, but you embrace your fate. Sorry, everyone. I think they're talking about me. To be honest, I still don't understand how this whole schedule thing works. I guess I lost track of time while I was passed out. Which one's the Wraith? Him. Been there before, even though it's taking some pressure off of me, which is an absolute dream come true. Is it really fair to pick on the newbie? Seriously, has anything here ever happened on schedule, even once? Damn it, Donald, if you try to flex that authority gimmick one more time, so help me, I'll snap your head off so quick, and then I'll drown you in his blood, Cynthia. Fuss and muss are back on. You two know I love to hack, slash, and slice. We all know you love to kill. It's almost all you talk about. Nobody named any names. Who even knows any names? Not us. I renounce my name. Who's Donald? Who's Dwight? Who even knows anymore? Call me nobody. But we still gotta get started on story time, so... Katie, who do you think should go? Ah, damn it, that's a name. Please pick somebody quickly so that this tropical vacation doesn't turn into a bloodbath. I want to hear spirits. I choose you, Spirit. Whoa. This entire experience is being carefully crafted to avoid an IP infringement lawsuit. Let's be careful with the catchphrases, will ya? Really? You want to hear from me? I thought she'd have an interesting one. Spirit huffs and dramatically rolls her eyes as she gets to her feet in front of the campfire. Don't let her talk you out of it. She's great with ghost stories. I don't know where she gets it, but she comes up with the scariest stuff. Seriously disturbing, even to me, and I literally pulled a guy's skull and spine out once with my bare hands. Talk about bullshit stories. If everyone else is gonna chit-chat... If everyone else is gonna chit-chat, I guess I can just sit down and... Huntress's eyes go red behind her mask, and both Trapper and Wraith take their seat. They know when it's worth fighting and when it's not. Well, I hate to break it to you, but tonight's story isn't scary. It's a romance. Too late now, though. I was selected, and so I'm gonna tell my story. I call it The Prisoner's Kiss. You notice that Huntress and Wraith are both sharing a giant tub of popcorn. Nobody offered you popcorn. Didn't we have to eat a person earlier? It was a dark summer night. Warm rain seeped from the sky like blood from an old wound. Detective Hada, a celebrated investigator and renowned hostage negotiator, was called to the scene of a strange occurrence, unlike anything she had ever seen before. When she arrived, the scene was chaotic. Crowds had begun to gather. A dozen other officers were doing everything they could to keep curious onlookers away. But how could anyone resist wanting to know more? For there, in the middle of the busy market, had appeared a giant box. Strange, alien in its appearance, and massive in size. No one knew how it got there. Was it delivered? Built on site? In such a busy area, how could something like this just appear? A mystery. It was as if conjured by magic. Excuse me. But this was no illusion. The huge box was very real, and someone was trapped inside. Spirit pauses from her story to look from face to face of each audience member. She has no expression, but you feel her vibrating with energy. She's in her element. "Help me!" cried someone inside the box. It was a man, terrified, trapped, imprisoned, his voice trembling. By now, it was as if every detective in the city was there, looking this strange structure up and down, inspecting it on every side. Didn't make any sense. There were no doors, no windows, no fasteners, no seams. It was completely solid and much too heavy to move by hand. Solid, that is, except for a single small slit, just enough to see the bloodshot eyes of the prisoner trapped inside. "I don't know what happened. I woke up and here I was. I'm so scared. Please help me," cried the man, as if pleading for his life. No stranger to tense situations, Detective Hotta comforted the man. She used her training to calm him and buy time for the other investigators. However, time did not bring a clarity, only anxiety, as the night dragged on with no progress opening the box. And as the night grew longer, the seeping rain puddling on the ground, the man inside grew more desperate. Desperate? I think that's spelled wrong. More sad and lonely, more pathetic, and in need of help. But Detective Hotta was no help at all. Powerless to save him, guilt began to weigh on her like it never had before. "Don't let me die in here," the man begged. "Don't let me die alone." "Stay calm," instructed Detective Hotta. "You're not alone. I'm here. Hell, half the town is here. We're all in this together, and we won't let this be the end of your story." Looking through that narrowest of passageways, Detective Hotta watched her own reflection in the tear-filled eyes of this strange, sad prisoner. Together, they both wept in silence at the hopelessness of the moment. "Promise?" asked the man. "Promise that I'm not alone?" "Yes," she promised. "I do." A simple pledge. She felt an instant connection like she'd never felt before. Not to her family, not to her friends, not to any of the other hostages she'd worked so hard to free before. And so, when the man's eyes closed and backed away, it didn't scare Detective Hotta, for she knew he would return. And he did, pressing his lips up to the narrow slit in this horrible puzzle box, repeating his question again, steam flowing from his mouth as he asked, "Promise? Promise that I'm not alone?" "Yes," she promised, "I do." And pressing her palms against the cold outside of the box, without truly knowing why, Detective Hotta leaned forward and placed her own lips up to the opening, letting her breath creep into this strange structure, allowing her warm lips to fall on this man's. It was a gentle kiss, a moment of compassion. She could feel in this brief contact the beating of her heart, pulsing blood through every inch of her body, matched beat for beat in this soft touch. "Thank you," said the man, no trace of fear remaining in his voice, and he backed away into the darkness, disappearing in a single moment of eerie calmness. "Get back!" yelled an officer, suddenly thrusting himself between Detective Hotta and the box, breaking a silence that would soon be filled by a cacophony of whirring gears and clicking latches, a symphony of mechanical activity happening all at once. Something had triggered, as if an unseen lever pulled, and the side of the giant box, began to slide open. Detective Hada gripped her flashlight tightly and pushed forward into the foggy interior of the giant box. Her feet splashed in the puddled rainwater, her heart racing as she swept her light from side to side. And that's when her eyes landed on the man, or at least landed on what should have been him. There in the corner of the box was a pile of pieces, like parts of a doll almost, pulled apart, or perhaps that's just how Detective Hada had to think of him in that moment to survive. A collection of segments, limbs, pieces, disconnected from one another, cleanly severed and placed in a neat little pile. And atop that pile, a head, cold, pale, eyes open, lips an icy blue. Spirit stares at her fire, her own expression lifeless, her lips blue. Tears fall from her chin and soak into the sand at her feet. You're blown away by the story, and it's safe to say you're not alone. Everyone else is looking into the fire or up at the sky, anywhere but at Spirit. It was you who chose her, you who initiated this harrowing tale. So sad, so creepy, so sensual. She really went into great detail when it came to describing that kiss. Too much detail, and now no one is sure how to act, probably. Dwight and Claudette are staring daggers at you. You have to do something. This game was supposed to be a lighthearted romp. Please, I said do something. Oh my god. We're gonna go with cool story. We are not doing this. Cool story. I don't know how to do a snort laugh. I just snorted. You just heard me snort. Thanks for the feedback. Oops. Spirit floats away as everyone looks wide-eyed at you. Hey. It was pretty cool. So nice of you guys to provide validation. Yeah, smooth move, doofus. Like, oh my god, that was not his voice. On that note, everyone decides it's time to take a break and split up for a little bit so they can all have a moment alone before bed. Everyone leaves and you're alone by the fire. The only thing you hear is the ocean slowly lapping against the shore. This is nice. A true moment of peace and tranquility that lasts for all of 7 seconds because Trickster shows up and he's blaring his latest song. Hey baby, you look lonely. Mind if I join you? He doesn't wait for an answer. I know you've been hearing from these guppies all day, but I want you to hear something from a big fish like me. Something special those in charge of this island don't want you to hear. I am the ultimate catch on this island. I am the only lobster in an ocean of sardines. No one can give you what I can. You just have to find me. Come find me, baby. Trickster leaves. You're a bit confused about what to make of his cryptic clues, but you aren't going to get any time to yourself to think about them just yet. Spirit approaches you. You know, I was watching you while I told my story. I could tell it was having an effect on you. The fog that follows me around, I could feel you breathing heavily, taking me in. You and I are both absolutely flabbergasted at that piece of information. Legit, you learn something new every day, even when you're a narrator. You're doing it again, right now. You need to calm down. You should come to the hot tub with me. Dipping in hot tubs with the spirit? You've come a long way in a single day. I'm not saying you shouldn't follow her. An offer like that. Just don't forget our little talk. I don't remember what the talk was. What was the talk? It's been too long since I played this. You and your storyteller friends slip into the water. It's just the right temperature for an evening dip. Plus, if some jealous shark comes along and manages to jump from the ocean into the pool, you're also pretty sure your killer companion could handle it. I really wouldn't be concerned about that. I just want to be totally clear. Even though that story bore some similarities to my life, it was not about me in any way, shape, or form. Not symbolically, not metaphorically, and not any other ickily. I believe you completely. Sure, you were cut into pieces in your life, and so was the other person in the story. A perfectly normal coincidence. Sure, you're on this island, trapped, one might say, in a most puzzling place. Also, a completely regular coincidence. And sure, his lips were blue, your lips are blue. Really? You'd call this blue? Searching for answers, hoping to find revenge. Okay, so the similarities stop there, I guess. Coincidences. Sorry, the coincidences. Get this through your head, whoever you are. Samurai blood runs through my veins. Well, maybe it's coagulated by now. No need to sweat the details. Regardless, I'm a descendant of noble warriors. Thousands of years of training with bladed weapons preceded my entrance into this world. Do you know how many swords that is? A lot. You've got to figure that with that many sharp edges, a person's bound to get disconnected from a body part here and there. The truth is, and I wouldn't typically share this, so don't go blabbing about it, I dreamt that story, like watching a movie in my sleep when I was just a little girl, years before my father sunk his blade into my skin. I've never been able to shake it. That's a very adult story for a child to dream. Do you believe me? Who cares? Who says I believe in anything? And for that matter, who even cares what I think? Our beliefs are our business and no one else's. Well, all being. That's a strong take. You've got to cultivate your own garden. I just admire you, Katie. You're not offering up your thoughts or opinions simply to feed the curiosity of others, like some of the more desperate residents of our little paradise. Good for you, I say. Now you've got me wondering, do I believe you if you believe her or not? And if I know everything, because trust me, I do know everything, don't I already know the answer to my own question about if I believe your answer to Spirit's question? Whoa. Ocean air got me tripping. Sorry, I didn't mean to distract us both. What's important is that a certain corpsey cutie floating in a cloud of magical mist might still be waiting for you to say the right thing and free her from her puzzle box. If you believe that she is the... Damn it, got me going again. Unfortunately, before you can follow this conundrum to what will surely be a mind-numbing cycle of new questions, you find a certain someone standing before you with a fresh towel, ready to dry you off. The sketchbook. Sorry, kids, but it's time for bed. I might be the youngest one here, but I'm no kid. I do, however, love being wrapped up in a fresh, clean towel. My mother used to help me wash my hair when I was young. She'd comb out all the tangles and tie a ribbon around it before sending me on my way. I miss her. You watch as Spirit stares off into the distance, her hand gripping into a tight fist. She doesn't notice you're watching her at first. When she catches you looking, she turns away, roughly grabs a towel from Dwight, and then pushes him and Claudette aside as she floats off.